Okay, hello everybody. Anyone that's going to be watching this video clip, I'm really excited about the person I'll be speaking with because I hold him in high regards. Uh, Dan Henderson is an outstanding master coordinator in Shackley who has one of the top three businesses in all of Shackley. I was speaking with him the other day and he kindly offered to share something with me that I think will make a strong impact on many people that will be watching this and their businesses. So often people are looking for that magic widget of what is going to create a large and successful business that will provide a great income for themselves and their family. And Dan has a wonderful secret that he's willing to share with all of us today. So Dan, thanks so much for offering to do this presentation, this take a look kind of information and giving us the big secret.
Hey, Joanne, it's my pleasure. It's always great to be with Joanne. So I'm happy to be here. You bet.
Good. Yeah, well,
So you ready for me to just rock this or?
Yeah, I think so, Dan. You know, I think people are going to be very excited to hear what that big secret is. And for me, when you showed it to me, this is exactly what I needed to hear because it has a great vision, it has a great principle, and it has great value for everybody. So let's go for it.
Okay, great. So I get this question all the time when you have a large organization and people know it, they want to know the secret and we all do, right? And we know that there is no one secret, but if there was one secret, I believe this is it. In the opportunities that I have to train, to teach and people in my organization and people who are not in my organization, this is a piece that I talk about every single time, because I believe if you understand this, it changes your perspective of our business, and I think it changes the direction of your business. And so I think it's just super, super critical. I want to say before I actually get into the slides, and there are only a few of them, but I made this presentation part of what I did for the company at the new director conference a few years back. And they said, Dan, listen, so here's what's going on. So new director conference, typically it's the women who do all the work and their husbands get to come along for free for vacation, right? And maybe they aren't real clear on the income, the true income opportunity of our business and our business model and why it can be so powerful. And so we'd like for you to, we want to create something that would send that message. So we talked about it and we thought that because I believe that three key builders is the key to building a large Shackley business, the company, then we said, okay, so why don't we pick some dates in my organization, which I'll show you, and we'll pick those times, and we will make it crystal clear that these numbers that you guys are about to see came from the company. They came from Shackley Legal. They're not something I made up. So this is real. This is what's happened in my organization as a result of finding 3 to 5 key builders. So I think it's important to set it up that way, to understand how this all came about, right? So let's get to it. So the challenge, obviously, for everybody that's new in Shackley is where are the people going to come from? Where's the volume going to come from? How am I going to make any money? And this is a struggle for lots and lots of people early in the game. And you figure, well, how in the world am I going to be able to generate that much volume? So we have this app, we all do on our cell phones, which, you know, it's just great to have. And I did this screenshot on this date. See, I think what's happening here is that at the very top of the screen, I'm not seeing that date. But at any rate, I think this is about a year ago. So let's just say that. I woke up in the morning. It was, oh, there's the date, April 3rd, right? At 8:30 in the morning. Can you see that in the lower left-hand corner there, Joanne? So
I can't see
I,
it, but maybe when the
oh,
slide
you,
gets larger.
yeah. So, okay. So it's 8:30 in the morning on April 3rd. And I turn on the app just
Oh,
to
I
see,
see
check
it
my
now.
volume was. Can you see that?
Yeah, I
Right?
see it now. It's in red.
Yeah. So then, so you can check your volume every 30 minutes, right? And so I just checked on April 3rd, 8:30 in the morning. It's 281,186 OV. So you
On
figure, how's that
on the
possible
third, the third of
on
the
the
month.
on the 3rd of the month at 8:30 in the morning,
And the
right?
month starts in the beginning, the first. So in
Right.
3 days, your organization produced 281,186.
Yeah. And so then if you look at the screenshot on the right, at 8:44 on April 15th, 12 days later, the volume is 1,072,014 OV.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this happen? How is it possible? Because clearly one person can't do, nobody's that good, right? And you definitely can't do that just selling product. So that's the secret. So what is the secret? The secret, of course, is leverage. And I just love this quote from Archimedes that said, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum strong enough, and I shall move the world. So if we're going to do anything great, we can't do it alone. We need leverage. And in our business, leverage is people. Leverage is key people. It's key builders. This is not about how many people you can sign up. It's not about how many, and obviously we want all the customers we can find, and we want them to stay around forever and ever and ever. And they tend to do that in Shackley, which is great. But we want to find key builders. If you looked at if you think of it as a formula, and this is so simplistic, and I know that it is, right? But we get paid on volume. Where's the volume come from? The volume comes from people. Where the people come from, they come from strong organizations, right? 3 to 5 key builders, not 3 to 5 key people who just enroll in your business. Now, I want to make this really clear. This is not something that just happens in Shackley. This is true in every network marketing company on the planet. And I know lots of people and lots of other network marketing companies, and almost everybody, if they have a significant check that say 30 to 100, $150,000 a month, it almost always, it's 3 to 5 people, 3 to 5 key builders, and it's almost never 5. It's almost always 3. That's the point, right? So this is what the leverage in our business is all about. Now, I know I call it this is the network marketing law, right? This is like gravity. 3 to 5 key people is where 90% of your volume is going to come from. And it's where 90% of your money obviously is going to come from, right? So if that's true, and certainly I believe it is, then why would we not focus on finding the best 3 to 5 key builders that we can find, right? So this is my organization that we're so lucky, so fortunate to have. So first level to us, Gary and Faye Burke, Ross and Mary Margaret Early, Rocky and Molly Pratt. This is Lou Ann and Adrian Opitz, and the Shears from out in Nebraska. So we're going to focus on just 3, the Burks, the Earlys, and the Pratts, right? And what the company did is we did some research, and here's what we found. From these 3 organizations, the Burks, Earlys, and Pratts, between 2007 and 2015, I hope you can see, I know those numbers are small, but between 2007 and 2015, these 3 organizations produced, to the penny, $230,471,615.34, right? Glenda and me and our Raleigh business and our personal group business generated $384,187.22, which are not dollars, but in volume, PV. So that represents 0.17% of the entire organization's volume. So the residual income portion of this business from these three key builders. These three people all have strong organizations. As the numbers that you see or the circles that you see under them, for example, go back to the Burks, right? Coogan's, Barb Hill, Johnson, all master coordinators at some point. The Early's the same, Palmeyer, Fry, and Schmidt, and under the Pratts, Beneventos, Ryle, and Olson all made master. At one point we had, I don't know what it is now, I just haven't checked it on it in a long time, 17 master coordinators in this organization from these three people, from these three organizations. So that's it. So that represents 99.83% of all the volume, and that's what creates our bonus check, right? So now we look at the money. And this is what legal came up with. Form 1099, between 2003 and 2015, we were paid in residual income $9,933,216, or an average of $764,000 a year. And our income has grown since then. But that's it. That's the volume, that's the money, and that's how it works, is to go find 3 to 5 key builders. So what I talk about when I do training with people in my group and out of my group, anybody that wants to hear me tell my version of what they should do and how they should see the business, the perspective is that they should go try to do everything they possibly can to focus on finding 3 to 5 key builders. And of course, the question is then, how do you do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I have a...
I'm doing, Ann, lately is talking to them about profiling the type of person that they want to see in those 3 to 5, because sometimes, you know, the saying was in the beginning was, you know, if they breathe into a mirror and it fogs, they're a good prospect. When actually you want to know who's going to be your teammate, who's going to be your partner, and you really want to kind of profile a person that, one, you will enjoy working with for the rest of your life, because we can end up spending a lot of time with each other, and that you would want on your team and in your business. So, and of course, all those 3 are very highly qualified people who had a dream and a vision to wanting to be an entrepreneur and to use Shaklee as their vehicle.
No, that's exactly right. And we don't know who those people are going to be. There's no way to know that. But we have a 65-year history, and we have a culture. And if you look around in Shaklee and pay attention, you can see sort of the kind of people that do well, right? And I have a list. I don't know if you have a list of the people that when I'm doing this in a teaching form, a list of things that I teach people to look for. Number 1 on the list is, are they likable? People are not we're asking people to come into business with us. It's just totally different than marketing a product, getting somebody to use a product, right? When you're asking somebody, come into business with me, and we're going to take this journey together, and I'm going to help you get there, that's a totally different thing, right? So number 1, are they likable? Number 2, it's off the top of my head, the credibility is a big deal, credibility and influence. And what I mean by that is, do they have enough credibility to attract people that will actually listen to them tell their Shaklee story? I mean, would they even be open to listening, right? I think a strong reason is a very, very big deal. We hear, of course, you know, you got to have a why. I call it reason. And I think, and I know for sure reasons are more powerful than goals. Goal setting is, you know, which we could talk about all day, but that's just kind of writing a bunch of stuff down that maybe you never get around to. But if your reason is strong enough, I mean, if you're a woman and you've got 2 or 3 kids and you're working and your husband is working and you're dropping those kids at daycare, and you sort of like would do anything to be able to be home and raise your family, I mean, that's a strong, strong reason. And so I look for that. I look for strong reason. Are they ambitious? Will they treat the business like a business? So these are all things, some of those things you can know about people. What I do is I recommend when I'm working with somebody who's just getting started, and I obviously I'm not doing it at first level for me. I'm doing it for people in my organization. We have a profile sheet, and they fill out the sheet. I ask them to look to give us a list of 20 people. Not everybody you've met since kindergarten. Just going to start with 20 people, 10 that you think would be a really great product prospect, and then 10 people that you'd like to have on your team that you would bet the farm could do it if they wanted to. And that's where we start. And I ask them to fill out this profile sheet. That just gives us as much information about that person as we can have, and we discuss all 20 names and the best way to approach them. And that's kind of how I go about doing that. So that's the beginning of the process. Now, you really don't know what somebody will or will not do. Let's just look at this slide, right? Here's Gary and Faye Burke. Gary was a coach. And I had many conversations with Gary about his business. And he said, I never saw myself as anything but a coach. And that's how I see it. I never saw myself as a great recruiter. I didn't want to be a great recruiter, but I thought I could be a great coach. So that's how I approached it. It took Gary and Faye 8 years to make master coordinator. So they were not like really super hot, didn't get off to a really super fast start. And they talk about that all the time, so I can talk about it here, right?
Right.
Now, there's Ross Early. So Ross sees the business opportunity, and he goes to the first two friends, right? Their names are right here. He goes to Norman and Mary Ann Palmeyer and Frank and Cindy Fry. And they said, no, not interested, not going to do it, right? Man, he's just kind of getting disappointed. And so then he goes to Benny Schmidt, right? His other friend, and they're all three know each other. And Benny said, yeah, I think so. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to do this, right? So then now that Benny is going to do it, they go back and talk to Norman and Fry, to Palmer and Fry. And now all three of them jump in. Now, so within the first 30 days, they had three people, Ross and Mary Moore had three people say yes that all made master coordinator. So we don't know how
and
soon.
Ross's background was insurance, correct? Were they all pretty much in insurance?
They were right. They all four were insurance, right? So they had a lot of common things to think about. So the point is, we don't really know, but we just want to go find people that we think we'd love to have on our team and that could do it. Now, I have a little process that I teach that I think is really, really important. I call it red, yellow, green. And it is to just visualize for a moment a traffic light. And we know what that looks like. And so red means what? Red means stop, right?
Yes.
Green means go, right? And yellow means caution. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It doesn't mean stop and check your email, which is what's happening today. But so here's the process that I teach, right? We work with people who are green light people. They're on go. They're doing the things that you need to do if you're going to build an organization. In your case, because you know so much about what people need to do if they're going to make it happen and what people shouldn't do and all that sort of stuff. Really easy for you to identify people that are on go, right? Now, what we do find, and this is human nature, is we find people that have great promise. We're excited about them, and we go to work for them to try to help them build a business. And then something happens, and it starts to slow down for whatever reason. Caution. Now, that's where I call that slow down for yellow lights, right? And we need to be super, super aware that that light has turned yellow. They're not on go, and we need to be aware. So what do you do when that happens? We go have a conversation with them. It's just a conversation that says, Joanne, You know, you said when we had our conversation that you wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and this is the kind of income you wanted, and this was your reason for doing it. And it seems that things maybe have slowed down a little bit. I thought it would be good for us to have this conversation just to see if we're still on track. Is there some reason that we're not on track? And just have that, just a warm, fuzzy conversation. You know, we're not beating anybody up. We're just saying, are we on go or are we not on go? Because I believe the number one single problem people have in our, the reason they never reach their financial goals is because they work with the wrong people, not the fact that they're working with the wrong humans, right? It's
And,
just they're
they
working with.
spend, yeah, they spend too much time. I've seen it so time and time again, Dan, on that person. So years go by with the, because that person might turn on the green light again for the next block and then
Right, right.
stop. Are we going to go to our full destination
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
person?
that's right. So the conversation is to say, can we turn the light green again? Look, we don't want to get a red light. You know, we don't want, I talk about the business this way, people don't work for us, we work for them. Literally, when we sponsor somebody into the business that we're committed to, we're making a commitment that says, hey, I will help you do this. Now, we're investing our time, our effort, our energy, all of our knowledge, and sometimes money. Not a bunch of money, but I'm saying if time is money, we're investing a lot of time and effort and energy. So we're going to go to work for them. They're not going to go to work for us. We need to understand where they are in the process. And so we don't want to get a no. Now, so we continue to work with people because we think they can do it, and they sort of say all the right stuff, but they don't do all the things that they need to do, which is fine. I mean, not everybody is going to do this. That's for sure. If everybody that said they were going to do it did it, we'd be billionaires. We would maybe not having this conversation, right? So what I teach is this. If you're going to get a red light, when do you want it? As fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because time is so, so valuable. So that's it. So if you understand that that you're going to ultimately wind up with no more than 3 to 5 key legs, if you want to call them legs, or organizations or people or whatever you want to call them, that's what's going to make your Shackley business either grow or not grow. And so why would you not focus there? And why would you not be okay with sort of monitoring that? I have another little thing that I teach. It's scoreboarding, right? And I teach people make 5 circles. You can do it on a whiteboard. You can do it on in any way you want to do it. But there are 5 circles, and the job, right? If you want to make money in Shackley, is to fill those 5 circles with people that are active, green light people.
Yeah,
and if you look at those circles, and that's your scoreboard, you can look at that every day. And, it can be very, very disappointing. I mean, if you don't have any active people in the circle, well, it also can be instructive, right? That tells you what you need to do. You need to go find the right people that you can put their name in that circle and get to work with them. And if people, if you get a bunch of red lights or some red lights in the process, and you will, that's for sure. Then you take their name out of that circle, and you're not kidding yourself about who's doing it and who's not doing it, right?
That's a good visual. That's a good visual. Yeah. I'm a visual person, and I talk to my team quite often about what you just said, and yet, sometimes it goes in and out, one ear and out the other, and it's great to hear someone else validate some of the things that I've been saying to the team, but putting them names in circle and then taking their names out might be a good element for some of the people who say they have a builder, but that builder maybe does 1 appointment in the month. And right. If you're really going to move on in momentum, you need a builder that looks at Shackley as a commitment of activity that is doing things versus training. And so I like that, taking their name out of the circle. Not saying that we don't love them, and they become a great customer. I have a wonderful couple that I was working with that initially was gung-ho. they went from 500 to 1,000, and then they stopped. So I took their name out of the circle because
Yeah.
they weren't doing the stuff that they needed to do in order to go to the next level.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Dan, I want to thank you really a lot, more than I can possibly say, because so often we don't get men in our business to be able to articulate this to our teams. And it's really, what would you say to, let's say, a husband of some of my women that are building? What would you say to them in terms of what you view Shackley for them and their family? Any other than go to work?
Yeah.
Go,
Well,
or they're working, that's the problem. They have a full-time job, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I had a full-time job, and I had two jobs. In fact, I was a radio personality. I worked for ABC, and that's what I was doing when Shackley came along. And I also did freelance network radio and TV commercials as a voice talent at the same time. So I was really super busy, and I lived in Detroit at the time, and I'm from North Carolina, but that's where I was at the time. And but I had a wife and three kids at the time, and still do, except it turned into four kids, right? But I had a strong reason to want to own something that I could call my own, that I could build. I don't know. I guess, Joanne, I've always had an entrepreneurial personality type, an entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, I wanted to own a business, but I wasn't born into a situation in which that was easy to do. I didn't have the money or the knowledge or the education to go build a business just go out and build a business. So I wasn't all set up that way, but that's what I wanted. But I think the massive numbers of people, in that presentation that I did about the trends that are coming, so we start with the three industrial revolutions over the last 250 some years in America, where that's just how it was done. You go to school, you get a job, you keep that job as long as you can, and see, we get locked into the paycheck. Because we have bills to pay. We got to keep the lights on. We got to keep the food coming in. We got to drive the car. I mean, so we get stuck, really. People do. They really get stuck. And so how do you break out of that? So if you have a person, and if you have that kind of a personality, if you're entrepreneurial, if you want to own something, if you want to do that and stabilize your future like that, and not be dependent on when are you going to lose that job, because that's obviously a lot of that's happening today. If you feel that strength of entrepreneurship, then I just can't think of a better thing that you could possibly do. It's a business model that and I think so many people misunderstand the business model. They don't get it because they never see the picture, right? And the Shackley business model, I mean, you just get into talking about business models for a half hour, right? So there's a book that I love. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, who was the lead hostage negotiator for the FBI. And so that's what he did, right? All over the world, hostage negotiation. And he said a cool thing. He said, we think taking people for hostage is just like a horrible thing, right? He said, but for them, and it is, but for them, it's just a business model, right? So there's just no end to the different business models. And so that's what Shackley is. That's what network marketing is a business model. And the really awesome thing about it is that you can start from scratch, and you can really do incredible things. And so the business is 65 years old. It works. It's been many times people have thought to question whether or not it's a viable business model, but I mean, it's just all over the world. Network marketing is growing dramatically, and so it works. And if you have a strong enough reason, why not? Why not,
Yeah.
you know,
And if they have
find
a
a few key
spouse,
people?
if they have a spouse who is in love with it and great at product and really wanting to, can get a good customer base going, I think what it can, the husband who, because they're working full time, can do this kind of presentation of big numbers for the other husbands to say, this is really what this business is of value and worth to you and your family. It's not just I wanted $50 a week extra when I started, Dan. I was a real big thinker when I started, but I did see the model and I did see the fact that there was more to it if I applied myself. So I love the
Yeah.
big numbers, and I look forward to one day accomplishing as much as, if not more than, what you have beautifully done in your business. So I want to thank you again very much.
Joanne, it's my pleasure. Always, anytime.
All right. Oh, well, all right. Well, I may take you up on another time too, when I can
Okay.
get you to share some more information. Thanks very much,
Excellent.
Dan.
Okay,
All right.
Joanne, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.